Myself Farid, today I am going to present a technical topic like state management with NgRx. Yeah. So before I start, actually this is one concept we commonly used in Angular. I think there are plenty of ways to communicate the data among the Angular component. So again, so there is a number of various types are there. One of them is local storage, where a developer will create one local storage variable and another developer utilize that variable. And there is another way by creating a setter getter methods in our services. In component, you will set the value. Some other component will by using get the value by using a getter methods. The problem here is, I think there are one NgRx variable also we can create, and by anybody can on the project, any developer can subscribe to that variable and get the latest value. The problem here comes is restriction. Anybody can override the value at any point. Anybody can update the value. So that is the limitation. To avoid the limitation, there is a process like state. There is a state, and we are managing the state with a package, NgRx package. So let's see what are going to be covered in this topic today. What exactly this NgRx and what exactly a NgRx store, and what is NgRx and Redux, what is the difference between them, and the lifecycle hooks of NgRx like stores, actions, effects, reducers. Okay, let's see the details. As said, there is no proper state management. Any developer can do the manipulation on the variable. There is no restrictions, no sequence allowed. And going forward, if one developer is creating one variable, other developer don't even have the idea about this particular, in fact, to manage this particular case, this particular variable is already there in application or not. He will create another same variable and he will save in the local storage. When the review it comes, we feel that both are two variables and both functionality are same. So to enable all the developers in the application, we are maintaining there is centralizing state is missing. So a new developer onboard to the application, no need to explain that these are the variables available here. You can directly for this particular module, this state is available. You can refer the state. You will get the list of all parameters there. So that is missing in our legacy usual development processes. And predictable changes. Anybody can do the manipulation of any variable. So that is not even restricted here. So that is one limitation is there. And performance wise, if we are using one pipe in a small application, it is fine. Going to the larger applications, when you are using a number of pipes to use translations, pipes to use date pickers, going forward, this will impact the performance. If the pipes are indirectly enable the watchers keep on watching, loading the DOM to heavy, it will load the DOM memory. It leads to the browser hanging. So that is one limitation is there. And as said, scalability and maintainability. For small projects, we don't care about the variables. When a huge project which has separate, a number of sub packages, then issue will come, and data sharing also will be a complexity. So let's see, these are the limitations, how exactly our NgRx package is going to resolve that. So as said, this is NgRx package is inspired by Redux. Redux is a native JavaScript library package to perform the programming language. I think both are similar. I think whereas Redux we can use in JavaScript and TypeScript, whereas NgRx is only specific to the Angular. And coming to this development tools also, there is plenty of development tools are supported in Angular. Whereas learning curve wise and Redux will give the, we have, it's a basic core library. We can do any kind of activities there. Whereas in Angular, it is already predefined. So we have to do the lifecycle hooks. Apart from this, we cannot do any other activities. So as said, this package has some 5 sub packages. You can see that screen. NgRx store is a main package. It has effects, entities, router states, dev tools, and dev tool extensions. Let's see how we can use this NgRx package in our application. So first of all, you have to install the package, which is NgRx store. I think latest version is 16 available for Angular LTS 16 versions. I can for 14 also we can map NgRx store 14 version and we can download that thing. So this is also LTS, and once after you install that package, you have to create one store, which is store is nothing but a state. It's nothing but a model where I have created one model with user attributes, name, ID, email, mobile number, and token. So this is a user model. So I call it as a store. Yeah, these are the elements available I need before I start using this Angular start using NgRx Redux Bike. There are 5 lifecycle hooks for this: store, selectors, reducers, and actions and effects. Actually, sequence is you cannot directly manipulate the variable of the store. All you have to do is you have to call the actions. Action will call the reducers. Reducer will update the store. And again, to get that updated value, you have to use the selectors and you have to subscribe on the selectors. You will get the latest value. In some cases, we need APIs. In that case, you will call the action. Action will call the effect. Effect will call the effect it will call the API and it will bring the payload and it will map back to another action. Another action will set it to reducer. So this is the flow how we used to do. As said, store. This is the main thing in this NgRx package. It looks like a small JSON object, but it is so much powerful. When you are planning for a particular module, for that particular module, you are going to create one single object that will cover end-to-end variables of that object, of that module. So now what you are doing, so when you are when you are initializing with the default values, when any activity comes, any action, when you start that action will call the reducers and reducers will set the updated values to the store. Now when your user is trying to log in, after login what will happen, we will get the login payload and we will set the login payload to our application context, where we are using that thing right now in local storages and in some other cases. So rather than this, we will set that payload to this state, and this state is available throughout the application. It is within the package or with some external package, or it is a third party library also. If you are subscribing there, it is available. So that advantage we will get. Now the thing is, when the state is available, when you are subscribing it to the state, before DOM gets loaded, this state will get executed. After that only DOM will load. So problem here is there is no watchers now. It won't listen to that again until and unless if subscribe again, it will refresh the DOM. So that is the reason. If let's say if we are using local storage approach to save the variables, I can directly from console I can override the variables. If any API call hits, it will go with the updated variable. So there is no control on the data security. So now in this case, if you are trying to manipulate that particular object variable, it will show that this is immutable. You cannot do override activities are there. So we are making our data objects secure. So the changes will go in a unidirectional way. You cannot directly hit a subscriber. You cannot directly hit a effect without action involved there. So that unidirectional approach you have to follow. That will restrict you. Let's see how exactly with an example how these lifecycle hooks are performed. Step 1, we have actions. As said, actions are defined by action types. So this is a small action class which is implements action interface. So this accepts a payload of request data. So how I am calling this action in my application is, in my component I am just create a store reference. On that store reference I am dispatching my action. My action accepts the payload like email and password. So when I run this command, so it will hit to the login action from my component. From here it will initiate that effect. What effect will do? Effect is almost if the naming convention should be same. When you are creating an action, same action name should be same effect name. Then it will no need to no need to pointing out. It will automatically trigger it out. When that particular action has some effect, then at that time effect will get involved. So what in this login request, what I am doing, I am usually how we do create API, create endpoint API endpoints in service in our component, inject the service and call the API calls. So now here we are doing that activity here rather than in component. In effect, we are calling this service by passing that payload as a request, and we will get that response. Now here we have two cases, either API call is success and API call is fail cases. In API call success cases, login response is another action. In error cases, login error is another action. These two action, there are, as said, action has action type as well as payload. Action now login response accepts response as an input, and login error accepts error as an input. When login is successful, we will get the login response action payload will come to here, and from here, as said, I have that user model. Within that user model, I will update the I have used spread operator. It will keep as same as updated values. It will override only that particular module, so that particular variable which is token, and it will set the token value to that particular token. So like in this way, on login, I have called an action, I have called an API, I have got the response, I have updated it to state. Now in my application, I need to use that variables. Those are set into the store. Now here what I am doing in my parent class, wherever I needed that particular variable. So let's say I have a use case that where I need the token, I need to set this token in my auth headers, and I have to pass it to the every API call. So I need the token in this component. So what I am doing here, I am just subscribing that store. Again, I have created the same reference, and I am subscribing to that store, and I have that store and state one and the same here in this case. Those are I am subscribing to the state, and within this state I have within this store I have this auth state as, and a number of states we can have in single application. Within this thing, I have token is available in auth state. I am setting the token value to the token variable. Same way, I can have a number of states where I have profile is one state, and we can fetch the values, and we can set it to variables, and we can utilize the variables. So this way I have subscribed, and at the end I have to unsubscribe that thing. That will clear the memory. Yeah, let's conclude with the advantages of this NgRx package. So as said, centralized code statement is there. So going forward, we are creating specific objects to the specific modules. Now code sharing among these different module will be simple. So as predictable state changes, as said, this package allows enforce users to use the unidirectional data mapping. So in that way, we can use this immutable properties of that variable to avoid the override of the variable during the process. And as said, performance, it will load the DOM after it will get binded. It won't keep on watching as we can utilize that memory utilization is there. Scalability and maintainability, as said, for small applications, I think implementing this approach will be a huge. It is adding an extra package and creating this stores and states for this particular modules. For going to for a huge application, again it's a good approach. We can reuse the data among the multiple modules. That made simple with this NgRx package. Overall, now we got this Reduct package with the help of NgRx package available to the Angular. Let's start using. So now sharing is simple. Yeah, thank you.